I'm glad you mentioned that, Benji. It's absolutely true. I came into this game saying I hope Benji can show us something on the Morgan. If he's going to pick it in game number 2, we'll see if that's the selection he chooses. But not a lot of players that have really chosen this character have done well with her. Kind of just seemed like a lame duck. We see him bringing her out here in the solo lane and absolutely looked fantastic. eUnited are actually going to ban the Hun Bats, so they have a different trick up their sleeve. Flashpoint takes away Geb and Serket.
I like the mindset to ban the bots just in case Flashpoint decide to try and utilize that Morgan, because it is a pick that Incon does favor, and considering that they had first pick, it doesn't surprise me that they would want to eliminate that aspect. But Incon holding true to himself and just opting for the Zeus right away.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wants to go for the Zeus. This is a character that Incon plays very well. Verizio will play on the Thor, and we'll see Cabrakan show up as well. Although I suppose there's a little bit of flex there. That's likely where we're going to see those two characters play. Sylvanus will be the guardian of choice for Flashpoint, and selected next to Susano, a character that I'm surprised we don't see Verizio playing, to be honest, but Flashpoint get their pick.
Well, Verizio has no issues whatsoever on this Thor,
That's true.
I do prefer seeing the Thor setup alongside of the Cabrakan, especially when your team is opting into a character such as Poseidon, because it allows so much burst potential onto one character in particular. And if I'm eUnited, my primary target's probably going to be that Zeus every time. If you take away the Zeus ultimate, we've seen it time and time again. Teams have really struggled without that AoE perspective, and it's once you lose that, especially in such a draft so early game favor, that's pretty important.
eUnited historically did very well with a geometry-based composition based around walls, right? You're looking at PainDeViande playing Ymir next to Thor in the jungle. Cabrakan's certainly going to fit in that. Cabrakan, Thor, you're not going anywhere, so that's certainly going to be a good look for eUnited. They're up against a Sobek, Medusa, Susano, Sylvanus, and Zeus combination, and going to stick with it. They're bringing the Odin, so just more structures.
And that is actually such a huge pick
Yeah,
on the side of
really
eUnited, because there is one member that has a chance of escaping that Odin ring, and it's the Susano, and he even has a really difficult time with utilizing his mobility to ensure that he doesn't get trapped inside of that ring. But, I mean, if eUnited play their game to a T, Odin plus Hui plus Poseidon and a Cabrakan just in case, there's not a lot of room left for error on the side of Flashpoint. So if their execution isn't perfect, eUnited's most likely will be, because when you have an Odin that can lock down an entire team without any sort of confrontation, that's just easy pickings.
Absolutely. eUnited, games aren't won in picks and bans, but you can say who won the picks and bans phase, and I think eUnited absolutely gets an A+ for their draft here. Khaos on the Poseidon is just a staple pick in the mid lane, but then everything works around and the fact that the Odin was selected last for Pain, I think is really just, that's when you're Flashpoint and you go, oh yeah, we're going to be locked up. That's a problem.
My favorite part about Pain being on this Odin, though, is that as a support, he actually has the freedom to roam and actually be a part of these early engagements, which is what you want out of an Odin, because that early mid game is where he flourishes. And so having that possibility to where he can choose to invade or just follow up on his team whenever, it's so crucial.
And, when it comes down to it, is Odin, I always lament, even though he's been successful lately, that he's kind of a do-nothing character. And a lot of it is based on the base value. So if you're going to play on the support, you're allowed to be a little bit behind. You don't need these itemization choices that you need on some other characters, and you allow Verizio and Benji to play characters that are going to get that farm and use it a little bit more successfully. Mirage already bringing big damage into Khaos. Shadowq with the early rotation. That's a dead mid laner, folks. Very early on. 1 kill in 1 minute. Flashpoint starting things hot.
Khaos overstepping just a little bit too much on that Poseidon early on. Excellent by Mirage to recognize that with the tidal wave being down, he could enforce onto him as much as he wanted to, and now Flashpoint are going to strip away the speed buff from eUnited.
PainDeViande jumps into 3 by himself, but with the show up of his teammates, it's going to force the shell out of Flashpoint. Love this play out of Incon. He's just going to be able to get a ton of damage onto the enemy eUnited, but they're grouping up after the respawn, and Khaos gets his revenge. Shadowq falls down. Khaos finds his first kill.
And that's actually exactly what Flashpoint did not want to happen. After putting Khaos just slightly behind in that mid lane, and then he's immediately caught up due to picking up the kill onto Shadowq. That's just so unfortunate, but when you're an immobile guy like Sylvanus, there's not much your team can do for you at these early levels of the game. He doesn't have an ultimate to try and peel himself away, so really that's kind of in eUnited's favor now, as they're going to secure not only the elementals, but the mid-harpies as well.
You know, I love the small stuff. Gotta bring it up. Gotta bring it up. Virizial right there tosses the hammer through the camp on the right side and hits the middle lane creeps the mid camp creeps as well. Just making sure to maximize his farm. Listen, it's not gonna win the game, but it's nice to see that that small maximization. That's what really brings you to this level. You know, jokes aside, you need that type of meticulous play to really survive in the SPL. Quick up down from PainDeViande. Not gonna kill Incon, but certainly make him a little bit more careful about showing up near those mid-harpies next time. PainDeViande going to get cut off by the rotation out of XenoTronics, but here comes help from the rest of the team. Whirlpool out of Khaos. Xeno's on the bad side. Nice help by the Shield himself. And Virizial picks up the kill on the Hunter. Xeno thought he was being cheeky there, Taco, but he winds up getting smashed.
We've seen Xeno make that rotation a few times where he likes to wrap around the backside, really trying to catch the enemy team off guard, but this time around, doing it into 3 people, unfavorable situation, and now unfavorable for Benji, as he's going to fall down to 4 team members rotating from Flashpoint, but now the Gold Fury's wide open.
Textbook Smite 101. If you are learning to play this game at any level, whether it's SPL, community tournament, or bronze ranked, when there are people on the right side of the map, you hit the Gold Fury. That is just exactly what you do each and every time. It's not even what you call a veteran move, Taco. That's Smite basics.
Additionally, they were well aware that XenoTronics had just expended his ultimate trying to pick up that kill onto PainDeViande and the mid-harpies, so really excellent map awareness by eUnited. Just no hesitation whatsoever. Drop your Hui ultimate, drop everything. We have to secure this Gold Fury to compensate for Benji falling in solo.
Yeah, just a wonderful play right there, like you said. The knowledge of the Hunter, and Benji's sitting there saying, 4 people in my lane. Right? Now, he's not just complaining, he's letting you know, yeah, there's literally 4 people in my lane. Go do literally anything on the Gold Fury side of the map. Ultimate out of Zeus. Curious.
Incon had potential to pick up that kill onto Virizial had he been able to get a couple more in hands as well as ultimate ticks off on him. That detonate actually chunked Virizial a solid amount, so not completely unreasonable for him to just go for it. I mean, Gold Fury's down anyway. You don't really need to worry about having your Zeus ultimate available, considering that the main objective that you would want your ultimate for is already been secured.
That's the biggest key. I'm definitely a little bit less critical about the fact that the ultimate is down, because like you said, the main moment that you're saving it for is off the table. Usually I think we're just used to seeing Zeus is a character that almost always gets his hand held. You see Ra just fire the ultimate, and sometimes you hit and sometimes you don't. You see the same thing out of Giannis and even Thoths lately. But when it comes to Zeus, you're usually expecting, you know, either the Wrath of Terra or some sort of control from Aquarius. It's very rare to just see Zeus go ult, right? Because you can just run out of the rain, so.
And that's actually a topic we haven't touched on much, but Flashpoint running this dual Guardian, so their primary focus is just to secure or ensure that Incon is safe with free casting on the Zeus, but same can't be said for Aquarius, as Virizial's looking for the kill.
Oh, 2 bad O's right there. The ultimate misses, and then the wall, which is perfect for shutting down Aquarius's pick. The Sobek just on the wrong side. Just like you said, sometimes you swing and you miss.
It's always a feels Batman moment as a Thor when you're trying to just get off the early gank, put your solo laner ahead, and then Sobek just waddles on out of there.
Right now, I don't think anybody's waddling out of that. It's rain on rain. Both mid laners go ahead and fall down basically to each other. Incon and Khaos wind up falling down to the wayside. Here's Virizial trying to continue the fight. Zerka's Barrage deals damage to Shadowq. Well, Mirage able to escape there, no problem. and everybody from Flashpoint will rotate onto the right-hand side.
Pain had already expended his ring in locking down the kill onto Incon, which strong target focus at that. Benji trying to take up this tower, and he gets it! Aquarius, just no chance underneath those tremors.
All he has is the starting on. He's looking for the second go, and it pulled in. I don't think you want to do that to Fat Loki anytime soon. Got to pull out the old school. Oh, wow. Verizio going all the way. Mirage has to have, yeah, he's got to have his dash up soon. And so Verizio has to.
But Shadowq, he's
stuck.
right
He's
there.
stuck.
Oh!
Oh, the hot plays! Verizio playing and outplaying Flashpoint. I think everybody, as soon as he saw him let go of that hammer, you're sitting there going, he didn't go over the wall? What's wrong with him? Verizio knew the plan from the get-go.
Shadowq didn't even catch him in that
Yeah.
one. Oh my, that is...
Verizio's a crafty player. Crafty player. Crafty player.
Imagine if he Thor ulted back down onto Mirage, picked up the kill, and then gotten away.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
imagine.
Yeah, sure. I can also imagine having a perfect cast. Things don't go the way they do in our dreams, unfortunately. What I love about this pick, Benji is just always ready to bang. He wants to fight 100% of the time on this Cabrakan, which is what you want to do on this character. Verizio might get punished for his earlier transgressions. Incon gets the kill, but Mirage makes it happen. Ooh, baby. Mirage was mad about that sequence on the right side.
And PainDeViande having used the Odin ultimate defensively this time around, just trying to ensure that he doesn't fall himself, considering that Khaos had to back off, Verizio died, and I mean, when you have 3 members strong on the side of Flashpoint, you just might have to give up that T1 tower.
I love that Mirage. He was so mad. You saw him he dove that tier 1. He pulled him back. He went back on him. He said, no, listen, you got away once, Verizio. It's not going to happen twice. Flashpoint now setting up by the Gold Fury. They want to protect it at the very least. Khaos and PainDeViande show up, and so Flashpoint have to go ahead and re-deal. They really don't want to deal with that situation anytime soon.
Trying to secure the oracles for the side of Flashpoint is Shadowq. This should go the way of Flashpoint, considering that they are 3 members strong there, and I don't think eUnited really want to contest into that. And so instead, the rest of the squad just farming away pretty happily. Mirage doing what every jungler loves to do and picking up his speed buff.
That's pretty much what you're looking for here. Almost 10 minutes in, we've got a tie game pretty much in all relevant categories. eUnited, they took game 1 pretty much heavy-handedly. Flashpoint had a couple of moments, but eUnited all the way, I think, in game 1. Game number 2, a little bit more balanced, although... This is kind of what we... Basically, in game 1, I think we saw every 2 plays eUnited made, Flashpoint would answer back, right? You'd get one just completely red team win, and then they'd get a second win, and then Flashpoint would bite back. Here, it's been 1 for 1, so a little bit more balanced in the dance has been Flashpoint this time around.
These 2 drafts this go-around have provided a little bit more flexibility on both sides as far as retaliation is concerned, because while eUnited have the Odin ring set up, that's pretty much their only big engage.
Right.
So if Odin ring is dropped and they're not able to pick up a kill because of it, Flashpoint have strong response as well between the Susano, you've got Shadowq with his ultimate as well. And so a lot of emphasis is probably going to start being placed around not only the Gold Fury dances as the time continues to pass in this game, but probably starting around the Portal Demon as well. Whenever the big engagements really start to come out, you'll see these 2 teams playing a little bit more cautious, because whoever gets the chance to counter-engage, I think is going to be the one to find the upper hand in these team fights.
You can't discount the fact that Thor has a fantastic initiation, one of the best initiations in the game, but the problem is, once he lands down in the team fight, it's gonna rain. Incon will drop the ultimate wherever that Thor lands.
And additionally, you have to be concerned about Shadowq. They have a lot of peel potential in case Thor does drop that. If you consider that Aquarius will be grouped with the rest of his team, there's Sobek tail whip, Sobek pluck, Sylvanus knock up, Sylvanus pull, Mirage with his pull in and ultimate. XenoTronics has an ultimate as well that he could potentially use to petrify. And if you have your Thor setting up the enemy team through stuns, you're not necessarily anticipating a Medusa petrify to just nail you in the face.
So, do you need more than one Phantom against eUnited's draft right here, because sure, you have the ring, but you also have the structures that Benji and Virizio are going to be bringing out. So you've got one Phantom on the side of the support. Do you want to see the solo lane Sobek also grab a Phantom?
It depends on how comfortable Flashpoint feel with their positioning, because there are ways to fight around this Odin ultimate and still stay grouped as a team. They just don't need to be surrounded by Incon, because Incon is most likely going to be the primary focus every single time of PainDeViande and the rest of the squad of eUnited, because like I mentioned earlier, if Zeus falls down and you lose that AoE damage and potential, I mean, that's a massive part of Flashpoint's draft.
Absolutely.
And you really just don't want to risk it.
The fact that they do have the Sobek, though, in the solo lane, I think is a nice touch. So they don't have all of their eggs in one basket. Virizio going to avoid the knockup, but not the damage. Incon with the hot detonate. Ooh, definitely underestimated that. I did not think he would kill there.
Virizio even expended his beads in that opportunity, trying to find a way out after he realized just how much danger he was in. And now Mirage putting chase on the PandaCat, recognizing that his jump was down. Ultimate has been popped, and PandaCat's gonna find the worst end of that trade.
That's the Mirage that we all got to see last year on Noble. Flashpoint gonna pick up the Gold Fury right now, 50%, but here comes the rest of eUnited. Flashpoint needs to peel back, and they do, but here's the fight! Beautiful ultimate out of Benji! Everybody locked up, and Khaos gonna bring him to the cleaners. That's gonna be the third kill for the mid laner. Aquarius gets PainDeViande on the backside to answer back for his team. It's a 2-for-1 so far. Flashpoint the team with more members. Benji trying to change that as Aquarius is in trouble. In the sky is Virizio. He's gonna land front forward. XenoTronics Aegis, but you're stuck, bud. Can he find the hammer kill? Yes, he can. Virizio puts number 6 on the board for eUnited.
And Benji's not done giving chase to Aquarius either, as he's going to try and run him down for the final secure, and finds it. Mirage trying to make something happen, and it looks like Benji can now be paying for his sins of greed.
I'm not sure about that. He's
fast.
He's fast. Is he fast enough? One tick. Is it enough? No.
No.
I mean, not a no. It didn't even. I mean, the man didn't even have to blink an eye. Mirage, on the other hand, very deep. But a wonderful team fight coming out from the guys on eUnited. Virizio just perfect lockdown of the Hunter. Benji comes through. That ultimate, I mean, that's what Cabrakans dream of.
Oh, entirely. I mean, being able to drop the wall and just really captivate the entirety of Flashpoint alongside of the Odin ring, that actually was legitimately no escape. And now Flashpoint, however, finding the portal demon after both teams having to back off. So that's a strong response to eUnited, considering that fight really went in favor of eUnited, since Virizio was able to get back in time after his respawn timer was up. And really, that was the turning aspect for eUnited in that fight, because it was initially a 2-for-1. Flashpoint looked like they were going to get out, but Virizio ultimate raining down onto XenoTronics, kills his Aegis, and then XenoTronics shortly after.
It's 7-7, but nobody's drinking just yet. eUnited 2.5 above Flashpoint as far as the gold is concerned. Nice little start of a lead, but you certainly want to see more, and you know, it's kept. Flashpoint have done a good job of keeping the bleeding relatively low. They're certainly hurting, they're certainly losing, but that 2.5 could be a lot more. Like you said, the play on the fire demon portal and a lot of the situations that we've seen as Flashpoint bite back. They actually were winning that team fight at one point, even though eUnited had almost a perfect sequence by way of their sort of wall situation. Flashpoint were actually winning that team fight about halfway through before eUnited cleaned up. I was mentioning Mirage, though. Mirage last year came on the scene on Noble and was hyper aggressive, tower diving, to a fault, absolutely to a fault. But I always talk about, I'd rather you be aggressive than passive. Aquarius right here, he's gonna get stuck out, and well, lock the croc. Aquarius got nowhere to go. Virizio with credit for that. And watching Mirage in this game here, it's a return to that hyper-aggression. And this, I think, is the Mirage that Flashpoint wanted when they acquired him.
You need that balance between aggression and knowing when to back off.
Right.
And I think alongside of Incon shot calling, Mirage has that clarity in order to just be reeled back in. And excellent utilization of his beads there to escape the Whirlpool Kraken coming out from Khaos. And now, with that ultimate being expended, Flashpoint should have a decent chance at defending their tower.
Listen, Shadowq laned next to the aggressive Zapman. We know a very different Zapman these days as Flashpoint converge on an eUnited in their own jungle. Not going to be able to take this chase, I don't think, Shadowq. There's too many players wrapping around the backside. He's going to drop the ultimate anyway. Shadowq down to 10% and he's gone. PandaCat gets a good look at him. And Incon, he's going to be stuck in his own rainstorm for the moment. PandaCat jumps, PainDeViande jumps, and Incon gets stuck in the ground because of it. Mirage gets a kill, but PandaCat smacks him back. That's going to be another one. 11 for eUnited in total. Panda. 3 kills in total for the Hunter. 17 on the clock. And PandaCat does not seem like he's slowing down anytime soon.
And now with 4 members of Flashpoint dead, it doesn't look like XenoTronics is going to have any form of defense for either of these towers in the mid lane. This is probably free for eUnited and potentially a Phoenix if XenoTronics isn't careful, but it looks like they're more than happy to just secure that T2 and back off. And that all starts out because of Shadowq getting a little bit too aggressive, like we were just talking about, laning with Zapman, having to compensate for that aggressive playstyle, but just bit off a little bit more than what he could chew and baiting Incon in to try and help him, because Incon, you could tell he wanted to provide some sort of follow-up if his support's going to be popping his ultimate, or at the very least deter the enemy team from killing him. But Shadowq fell just way too quick. The entirety of Flashpoint was spread out a little bit too far from each other, and it was just a one-by-one sequence of events where Flashpoint just died and then eUnited just soared.
That was pretty much as bad as it could have been, but believe it or not, it could have actually been worse. Not only did Flashpoint make the wrong decision by going in there, but look at the composition. That's the one spot of the jungle where you don't want to fight. You're going to get controlled by Verizial, Benji, and PainDeViande, and if by some chance you wind up escaping all of the walls, you're going to be crippled in a whirlpool by Khaos. Like, there is no spot that you want to fight by those mid-harpies. It's just bad news bears. Flashpoint, you know, and I don't know if this qualifies as Caster's Curse, but I was just about to talk about how Shadowq is the one guy that you want to talk to when it comes to over-aggression. Because looking historically, he's laned with some of the more aggressive players in the game, and he's been able to reel them in. Having Mirage on the team, I think this is the guy. If I'm Mirage, I want to play with Shadowq, because he's the one that reeled in and controlled Zapman of all aggressive people. If I'm over-aggressive, I'm shouting Shadowq down and saying, hey, fix me a little bit.
And speaking of aggression, eUnited picking up the oracles there for themselves. And now PainDeViande engaging Odin Ring perfectly. XenoTronics is the first to fall.
And there's a Thor in the air, and he's on the ground now. Mirage very low, forces the ultimate out, and it misses. Verizial just dances around that ultimate. Incon's ult's on the other side of the wall. All the hard work by Verizial gets capped up by the Hunter, but it's all good. Verizial gets one of his own onto Aquarius. 3 down on the side of Flashpoint. Shadowq likely to be number 4. Verizial takes that one from Panda. They're keeping score.
And immediately the spam laughs following suit. Mirage,
absolutely.
the only member left alive on the side of Flashpoint. There's no way you can defend this. That the Phoenix is down, and now eUnited are immediately going to set their eyes onto this Portal Demon Fire Giant, because once they secure that, they'll be able to just run completely rampant on the side of Flashpoint and secure the remaining objectives and look for the siege opportunities.
Like I said, this is the eUnited that everybody involved, whether it be the people involved with the organization, Clerky and Chachi at home, or it's the 5 guys here playing on the team, this is the team that they wanted this season. They whether it's Benji coming back or just the team hitting their stride, eUnited look like, I won't say a completely new team because we've seen them succeed before, and this is what it looks like when eUnited are successful. They're nailing the objectives, they're nailing the team fights, and they're nailing the compositions. Verizial zones out, Fire Giant goes to EU, and here comes the ensuing team fight. Damage on the right side as Incon drops his ultimate defensively. Not good enough. Benji's on the good side. Everybody collapsing, and there's trying to run away from Khaos. Not good enough. Khaos on the good side. He's going to skate away for the moment, But it looks like the support has one captured as well. Xeno tries to wiggle. Not good enough. PainDeViande picks up another assist as his hunter, PandaCat, finds the 6th.
Shout outs to PainDeViande in that entire engagement. Not only did he provide peel for PandaCat when he was so low on health in jumping in front of XenoTronics, ensuring that he couldn't follow suit and was eating any auto attacks as Xeno was trying to throw at PandaCat. But then he also manages to help out Khaos, blocking off Xeno yet again with the Odin cage and setting up PandaCat for the kill on 20% health. That is just so feels Batman all around.
You can put Benji on a good team, but you can't take the Benji. You can't take the Salt Machine out of Benji. Walling off his own team with an ultimate. The team pops the frenzy. Right side Phoenix is toasted. Verizio gets a kill. Benji slams the ground and picks up 1. PandaCat picks up lucky number 7. Panda picks up lucky number 8, depending on where you're at in the world. And 23 in total. eUnited looking fantastic. Xeno's next. You're not going anywhere. Benji gets the kill. And Smite kills Benji. eUnited wind up with the 2nd win in their set. Verizio not going to be undone. Winds up dying to the fountain as well. But it's 24-8 here, and despite some fun antics at the end, eUnited win both games with a bang.
That was a fairly clean set as well, coming through on the side of eUnited. Just overall strong gameplay, and you can tell that there is a decent amount of synergy among this team with the way that they were able to just really play off of each other and have that confidence in one another.
PainDeViande is one of these players that, whether when you listen to the backstage rumblings of the pros, he's not as good as everybody else. His mechanics aren't as strong as everybody else, and he makes questionable calls. But sometimes those questionable calls win games, and there's something he does outside of the lines that gets his teams to work together and takes both rookies and veterans alike to make them stronger, and that's what we're seeing. PainDeViande and the rest of the squad looks really good here in our later weeks of the split. We'll see how the guys at the desk feel like breaking it down.
Thanks, F-Dot. And the big thing to take away from that is now eUnited climb themselves up to 10 points, equaling that of Luminosity, even though Luminosity still have 1 game left today.
That's right. It's going to be a great performance by eUnited today in their set against Flashpoint to be able to do that. They still have other matchups to go with. They're going to have against Luminosity and In Memory of Gabe in that last game on Sunday for week number 6.
And that goes should catapult them to 16 points overall. If they do find the 2 wins there, the 2-0s against both those teams, puts them in a comfortable position overall there, Tolly, and it would potentially, more than likely, see them hit that number 1 or 2 spot that takes them to LAN.
No team is safe currently in North America heading into the LAN here for Masters. Top 2 will qualify, the rest of them will go through the gauntlet.
Well, go back to game 1 of that set up against Flashpoint there. There was moments where Flashpoint looked good, but at the same time, it was the eUnited show. Khaos and PandaCat started things off and just continued that trend through both games.
First game, we saw Khaos playing the Vulcan, doing so much damage, getting set up by a lot of different plays here from Amaterasu on PainDeViande, only having 1 death, going 5-1 and 11 at the end.
But then Oh Jesus comes to play, and PandaCat really shined on this today as well. Not just in game 1, but in game 2 as well. He gets credit for the kills. Obviously, there's a lot of team effort that eUnited use here, Tolly, to secure their advantages.
Having the top player damage is PandaCat, doing a great job avoiding a lot of the abilities from the game, obviously exiting that Kraken. Not having a single death in game number 1, only 1 in game number 2, having a total of 14 kills throughout both games.
How do you feel about Hou-Yi right now? Because it looks like now and again we're starting to see Hou-Yi come back into the meta and being picked up a little bit more once again.
I mean, hey, if you can hit the ricochets like Med Yankee or PandaCat can, then why not play Hou-Yi? You have a lot of space control with those stuns. You have the slows as well. As long as you time your jump very carefully, making sure that you're still going to be able to be safe with your relics, then why not play this guy? You're doing so much damage.
And this is just game 1. These are all replays just of game 1. At the end of that game, the stats looked a little bit something like this. It allowed them to just continue to catapult the lead, the 20-6 kill differential, but 51 assists shows how many people were involved, Tolly.
eUnited was just always together, and it seemed it was very difficult for Flashpoint eventually throughout the mid-game to really find eUnited out of position and exploit that. And that's going to give them these 2 games here for eUnited.
Very unfortunate for Flashpoint yet again, coming up against eUnited. Flashpoint have really been struggling towards the bottom end of North America, and that set didn't do them very well either in the grand scheme of things. They've still got a couple of games left. I believe they've got one more set left, which is against Allegiance next.
That's right. They're still at 3 points currently, so they're sitting at that 8th spot, but who knows what's going to happen in the gauntlet. Anything can go.
And obviously in the second game, we saw Virizial and once again PandaCat continuing the assault onto Flashpoint. Flashpoint did keep this relatively even totally through the first portion of the game, but at this moment in time, this is where it's starting to get a little bit out of hand.
The draft eventually caught up with Flashpoint, because if you look at the draft from eUnited here, they had Thor, Cabrakan, and Odin. And if you look at the draft from the other opposition here from Flashpoint, Sobek, Susano, Zeus, Sylvanus, Medusa, none of these guys can really get away from those.
Put a ring on it, Tolly.
Yeah.
Put a ring on it. It's one thing that people always underestimate is the power of Odin without a Phantom. And PainDeViande, one of those Odin players that will happily do it from the support role.
Very easy for this team of eUnited to be able to take these gods and flex it between PainDeViande, maybe even Benji as well.
Once again, you look at the assist more than anything else there for me. 3 members pretty much involved in every single kill eUnited secured.
They're doing a great job, eUnited, yet again. Similar story to game number 1. Once they started to get that early to mid-game lead, they just basically continue to hold hands throughout the rest of the jungle.
Now, Luminosity and Memory of Gabe are the next opposition for eUnited, and funnily enough, that's what the last set of the day is today as well, is eUnited get to watch Memory of Gabe and Luminosity, their last 2 opposition, go at it, hoping that maybe this goes even so they can get a chance to snowball against them.
That should be a really interesting matchup, because Memory of Gabe are currently sitting at about 7 points as well, and Luminosity, they are trailing right behind Eager. Eager at 14, Luminosity at 10. They want to try to break that tiebreaker now that eUnited has at 10 points as well.
Well, I've been promoting this quite a lot today, and we will continue to do so. Thecaster.tv, you can head over there and start applying now to appear in a reality show that we're going to be doing at hi-rez Studios. The prize for #1 spot, $10,000. I'm pretty much thinking about retiring.
That's a lot of gems that I can buy with that.
It's a lot of gems. I'm thinking about retiring because I get paid less gems than that.
That's true.
That's what I kind of feel like.
I'm just going to quit right now, go to the caster, and then with all that money that I'm going to win, I'm just going to buy all the gems.
But can you do that? Because like Taco and Tom are also applying for it as well.
That means we have to apply as well.
But that just means we're all going to compete against each other.
It's going to be like the Hunger Games.
The Hunger, if you just kill
I'm
each
going to
other
grab the
instead.
hammer right behind me.
I didn't even think about the hammer. I was like, what hammer is he talking about? Oh, there's a hammer there. Yeah. I'm going to